In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about Java 8 features. So before this video, I have created two videos that is related to Java 8 features. So first of all, before watching this video, you should definitely watch these videos. First is the Java 8 and Java 8 Lambda expression. In that video, I have explained about what is the major reason to come Java 8 features, and here I have explained how interface for implementing interface we have to create the class, and then after I have explained anonymous class to implement the interface, and then in the second video I have explained about the functional interface, because functional interface plays a very big role for the lambda expression. So in this lecture I will explain some famous functional interface that are very useful in our Java features. So let's discuss about the callable and runnable functional interface. So first of all, let's discuss about the runnable functional interface. So in the runnable functional interface, basically it is very useful to create a thread. So basically inside the runnable interface, that is one abstract method, that is run. So its return type, as you can see, that is void. So in this run method, basically we write that code that we want to, that thread will run that code. So basically in this scenario, first we will create a runnable interface. Inside we create one runnable interface. Then after, when we implement it, it will internally works in the call the run method, and then after understand its key point. Then after we will discuss about its code. So let's move to the code. So basically, before Java, first of all, we will understand before Java 8 how we use Runnable interface. So here, what we have to do, first of all, we have to implement Runnable interface, because as you know, Runnable is an interface. Runnable. So as you can see that it contains one abstract method, so we have to implement that method. So by this way we can implement that method, otherwise we can also write our code. So here what we will do, here what we want to run, so we can inside this body. So for example, I just want to call that, yeah, enter in runnable interface, enter in new thread. Basically the runnable interface widely used to create a new thread. So here we have given the enter in the new thread. For after implement runnable interface, what we have to do, let's jump to the main class. So here we will call before Java 8 runnable, and then we will create a thread. How to create a thread? So first of all, what we have to do, before Java 8 runnable interface t1, that new before Java 8, yeah. Then what we have to do, it's basically normal a class. So first we create an object of this class, and then after we will create a thread class object, and here we will create thread dot new thread, and inside the thread class we have to pass that runnable interface. So before that, before understanding its working, let's understand the runnable interface. What is how internally runnable interface. So first of all, click control, then click in runnable. Then you can see the Runnable interface internal implementation. So basically Runnable interface is a functional interface that marked by, and then there is one abstract method that is inside it. There is not any kind of static and abstract static default or private method inside the Runnable. So let's jump to the main class. So here what we have done, here we have created a thread class. So first of all we will see how thread class internally takes runnable argument. Okay, so inside the thread class there is one constructor, and in that construction basically it contains the runnable interface as runnable interface reference as a argument. So here what we do, after that we will just call the start method. Then how it internally works, so basically let's discuss. First of all, when we call the start method, so it internally call the start method of the thread. That in internal thread start method will call the run method of the runnable interface, and inside runnable you can see that uh, we have written this. So after calling this, so it will internally call this run method. First of all, it will run thread start method, then starts method internally call the run method of the runnable interface. So here what we will do, we just control S for save, then click shift F6 for running the program. Here you can see that uh, here you can see that we have entered in a new thread. So what we have print in the run method, that you can see that enter new thread. So yeah, before Java 8 we have to do this, but after coming the Java 8, what we have to do, let's discuss in this class. So after coming the Java 8, basically as you know, Java 8 has introduced lambda expression. So here what we have to do, we basically, as we know, by for using lambda expression we have to just use the parenthesis. As we know, in the run method there are not any kind of argument, and then we use arrow sign, and here we will print system dot out dot println. And here what we want to do, in last example we have print enter in new thread, but here what we will add by using lambda, so it will create a difference. And then after what we do, we basically create the thread class and new thread, because the main purpose of the runnable interface to run the thread, so we basically pass that reference inside the thread constructor, and then we will definitely call the start method. And in that start method internally, what it will do, it will call start method, then it will go to the run method. But for run method, as we know that by using lambda expression we don't have to write that much code, so it internally call that method controller, then we will call shift F6. That, yeah, you can see, without creating any class for implementing the runnable interface, we can easily create by using lambda expression, and then we have called it. And not only this way, we can create multiple runnable interface ref1. And here what we do, here we have print that enter in new thread for reference 1. Okay, and then after what we will do, again we create the thread object, and inside the constructor we just have to pass the reference 1, and then again we can call thread 2 dot start, and it will also same work. First it will call thread start method, then it will call run method. So yeah, then again control S and shift F6 for running the program. Yeah, you can see that without implementing the runnable interface in any class, we can easily use by using lambda expression, and we can call all function here. So yeah, that's all about the runnable interface. And here you know that in the run method, here you can see there are not any kind of return type. So that is the major factor in the runnable interface. And in next topic we discuss about the callable interface. So let's discuss about the callable interface. Like the runnable interface, the main purpose to create a thread. Same with the callable interface. Callable is also a functional interface. It will take argument. It will take any kind of data type value, and it's also a functional interface, as you know. And the main purpose of callable to start the executor service. So here in the executor service, executor is also a framework. So by using executor framework, we can create multiple thread at a time. And inside the executor framework, there is mainly three things. First is executor, then executor service, and executors. So here what we do, we basically here only talk about the callable. In upcoming video, we will definitely discuss about the what is executor framework. So inside the callable interface, there is one abstract method, that is call, or in that call method there is one return type. We define that we can return any kind of value based on your requirement, and it will definitely throw the exception. So we will understand its code, and for that just understand its key point. So basically it's a return any result, as I told that it's a return type v, and can throw check exception, as we can see that it's a throw exception. And yeah, when we call submit method, then we call internal it. Yeah, so first of all let's discuss about the okay. So here we will discuss about the Callable interface. So in starting I have understood how to implement Runnable in before Java. Then we call inside the Callable interface without using previous structure. Here we will discuss only how we use execute Callable in Java 8. So here we use executor, and then executors. First of all, implement all the classes. Okay, then a new thread, new one here is not new. Yeah, new single thread execute. It will run only a single thread. So then after, what we have to do when we call the executor dot submit. Yeah, executor dot submit. So here what we have to do, here we have to do give any kind of task. So here we call runnable task. So for the runnable, what we have to do, as we know that for using runnable, uh, system.out.print, runnable is running, runnable run method is running. Okay, then it will definitely throw some error. Yeah, if we want to convert it into Callable. Okay, so here what we do, basically here we have to give the callable reference. So this is the first video. So first of all we will discuss in a descriptive manner. Okay, so here what we do, we basically as you can see that here we are using lambda expression, as we know that callable will return any kind of value. So here we have given integer type of value. So here what he will return, for example we have written 10, so it will internally return the 10. And as you can see that it is a callable method, so callable interface call method. So let's go jump to the callable interface. So what we have to do, we basically control then click, then we will enter the callable interface. So inside the callable interface you can see that it's inside it call method, and it's through the exception, and we have to return any kind of value. So based on our requirement, here what we have done, that we have defined that callable take integer as a return type. So we have written 10 here. Then what we have to do, executor dot submit. So first of all, understanding submit. Here you can see that inside the submit method as an argument we can pass callable, runnable, or any kind of result. So here we will call only a callable, sorry. So what we have to do, just take, and here we can give the task. So what is the main thing, that here we can see that it returns the value in a future way. Future is a class. So basically future is a interface, so it will return value in a future. So what we are doing here, we can take integer future, and we have to import it, and then after fut.get, if we want to get the output, and it will return the output. What is the okay interrupted exception? So here we have to throws the exception. As we know that callable interface, the call method will throw the exception. So here what we have to do, here what we will just print what future will return. So first of all, that's with yeah get integer. So it will return the integer value. Yeah, concurrent execution. Yeah, it will return two types of exception. So interrupted exception and execution exception. So inside the callable interface, what it will return? It's a return exception. So you know an exception is the root, not a root first throwable, then exception. So you can take execute as also exception is also as a root interface. So yeah, then we just shift F6. Yeah, it will return the 10 and here as you can see that it is running. It is because that after starting the thread we have to just stop it. As we in the thread we don't have to stop it, but in the executor we have to stop it. So what we have to do here, what we have to do, shut down and then done. Yeah, okay, we have to manually stop it, and now after shift F6, yeah, after printing it has automatically shut down. So yeah, that's all in the callable interface. So let's jump to the next thing, that is the difference between runnable and callable. It's a very important question that has asked in many interviews. So first of all, as we can see that runnable is an interface that is void run method, and run method internally uh, run method is not giving any kind of exception, while call method will give exception in the callable interface. So as we can see that runnable will not return any kind of value, callable will not return any kind of, callable will return a value that will be generic type, and here is not any kind of exception. Here will be a throw checked exception. Basically, run method is called to create a thread class, and while callable is basically used to call a executor service, and it will return a value in the future. And in a less or in a less words, we can understand that runnable is a fire and forget task. Just run, no result, while callable is fire and get result later, because it will return value in the future, return as a future. So yeah, that's all. In upcoming video, we will discuss about the predicate and remaining functional interface. So yeah, thank you.